So 14 hours in what essentially is a cheap lawn chair on an airplane, not made for men of a certain size. 14 hours, my ass bone was asleep most of that flight. I have been up for almost 30 consecutive hours, not counting, like 2 or 3 light naps I took along the way. I am freaking exhausted, but I'm in Japan now. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Hakone Tosan and Daiyuzan lines. Please change trains here at Odawara.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Imagine you're tired and you're going into the bathroom, but before you turn, watch that step. I about wiped out on it at least twice so far.
So our first main roadblock was not being able to read the menus. However, our company's global director kind of doubled as our tour guide, and he was really helpful in getting us what we wanted. Apparently Nagoya is well known for soybean paste, and I had this delicious soup with that as a base. It was really good, and there I am in a bib. Also, Nagoya is well known for wings, it would seem. And those soy sesame wings were better than they had any business being, really. This is a landmark that's over an underground mall, which is pretty cool in and of itself, but the actual glass boat structure up there had this color changing type deal on the floor, as you can see, and had a water feature that you could look down either through to the bottom or up through, and it was a constant kind of infinity waterfall thing. It was actually really, really cool. This was part of the underground mall. This is a Studio Ghibli store with my good friend and neighbor and Howl's Moving Castle. And there was also a Harry Potter store, if you're into that kind of thing. So this was kind of a big moment for me for a very small reason. One of my favorite video games growing up was Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, and it was kind of my first brush with Japanese culture in a video game, I know, right? But when I realized what the name of this restaurant was, like I said, it kind of came full circle for me. This restaurant is actually a Japanese spaghetti restaurant, and that plate of food was amazing, absolutely amazing. And here we had a hot pot dinner that was also very good. The atmosphere was cool. We were in this little private room with a water feature, and that's Sakura ice cream.
So I've watched the sun come up 2 days in a row now. Because of jet lag, I woke up at 2:30, 3 o'clock wide awake. Yesterday I almost went back to bed, but right about the time I started to doze off, I guess a telemarketer or somebody called me, and I thought it was my alarm, and I was up. Today, no, it's just me being up, trying to handle some stuff back home, just being up. And these boys right here, boy, these craft boss. Look at that guy, what a boss. This has been what's keeping me alive over here, because I don't know, like, I haven't necessarily had real close access to coffee over here in the mornings. This is very good, and I recommend it. It's not super sweet, but it's really good.
We did a little exploring on our own, went to the shop that has a different type of store on each floor. There's your Sanrio floor. This was sort of the video game section with Kirby and Pokemon. This was a really nice sushi restaurant where you had a tablet that you could order a la carte as you wanted to. And then this was a sort of at-your-own-table grilling experience. Our hosts are taking care of us, and as you could see, I didn't shy away from anything. Those plates aren't all mine, I promise.
Nagoya, Japan, at night.
I knew that Mount Fuji was one of the largest mountains in the world, but you don't really understand just how large a mountain is until you see it coming in the window for the better part of an hour. Seriously, it is massive, as you can see from how small the buildings and sort of countryside are around it. But it was definitely like a Halo experience here, and that's probably one of the most artistic pictures I've ever taken. So Friday was our big sightseeing day in Tokyo. Here I am posing with concept art of a bullet train that's supposed to be much faster than the one they currently have to be released in the next couple of years. And then I just took some pictures of various sites in Tokyo as we're going around. That's the Tokyo Tower. These are some other skyscrapers, just some of the buildings as we were going by taxi around. We went to a temple that kind of had this street market vendor lane going all the way down it. The architecture was absolutely beautiful. That's a 5-story tower over there. Some beautiful gardens. There's Spider-Man for some reason. And that is the Tokyo Skytree. That gets up to 500 meters, I believe it is. And they have different viewing points at 350 meters, 450 meters, and then finally a ramp that takes you all the way up to 500 meters. There's actually a section where there's a glass floor where you can look straight down and take pictures of that. It's pretty intimidating, but it was very, very cool. There were posters all up the Skytree about this We Are concert that was put on by this group that I believe is called Hinatazaka 46. I obviously don't know much about them, but game recognizes game, so of course I had to have a picture. Our director said that I looked like their bad manager. There are my boys Iori and Kyo Kusanagi from King of Fighters, and the crowning achievement of this trip, one of the reasons I was so excited about going, the Unicorn Gundam statue there in Tokyo. This was definitely a wonderful ribbon on top of the strip, and they also had a little store nearby that had like the diorama of the different, like the Zeta series Gundams and a couple of Zaku's, had this mural of the mainline Gundams, and even on the way out had this Wing Zero custom. And there's the plane that would take us back home. So you too are going to Japan. What do you expect? Well, I'm by no means an expert, but these are some things I noted. The bathrooms are what you might consider to be different, with the push button to flush and the bidets that spray water up on you. But now don't be afraid of those, give them a try. You might like it. Also, the cars in Japan tend to be a little bit smaller than in America, so the parking garages are actually a lot tighter than you probably expect, like very, very small. The car that we were riding around in was probably what you'd consider upper end of midsize in America, but it felt like we were going to scrape on everything and we had to get out of the car in order for them to get parked, so be prepared for that. There are convenience stores on just about every corner, or at least there were where I was, with all the delicious pre-made sandwiches, steamed buns, interesting drinks. You really shouldn't go hungry while you're in Japan. But to that point, try out the restaurants. There's all kinds of interesting food, stuff you probably wouldn't expect. Open yourself up, try something, you might like it. And keep in mind that while you're a tourist and it's probably really cool to be in Japan, people live there, that's their home, so be respectful.